In the heart of East Africa lies a nation that's quietly emerged as one of America's most vital allies. Kenya, a land of vast savannas, thriving cities, and an unyielding spirit, shares a bond with the United States that runs deeper than most realize. Forged in the Cold War, strengthened by counterterrorism, and enriched by trade, culture, and technology, this relationship has propelled Kenya ahead of its regional peers, nations like Somalia, mired in conflict, or Ethiopia, often gripped by unrest. Kenya's political landscape, though tested, remains largely calm and non-violent, a rarity in East Africa. Yet, this tie with the US seldom dominates headlines. This is the story of a partnership that's shaped two nations, influenced a continent, and positioned Kenya as a leader, a saga of diplomacy, innovation, and understated power. It began in 1963, when Kenya gained independence from Britain. By December 12, 1964, the US had established diplomatic relations, recognizing Kenya's strategic value. During the Cold War, Kenya's Indian Ocean coastline and proximity to the Horn of Africa made it a key player. Unlike Somalia, a Soviet ally until 1977, or Uganda, destabilized by Idi Amin's regime from 1971 to 1979, Kenya offered consistency. In 1980, the US secured a facilities access agreement in Mombasa, enabling naval operations during the Iran-Iraq War. Kenya received $45 million in military aid between 1980 and 1985, including F-5 fighter jets, according to the US State Department. This marked Kenya as a dependable partner, distinct from its chaotic neighbors. The US didn't stop at security. In 1977, Nairobi became the headquarters for the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, followed by UN Habitat in 1996, both bolstered by US funding, $14 million annually to UNEP alone by 2020. This elevated Kenya's global standing over Tanzania or Sudan. But challenges emerged. Under President Daniel Arap Moi from 1978 to 2002, Kenya faced authoritarian rule. In 1987, US Representative Howard Wolpe accused Moi of ties to organized crime during a congressional hearing, souring relations. In 1991, the US cut $30 million in aid, pushing for democracy. Multi-party elections began in 1992, a step Sudan never took amid its 1989 coup. Kenya's political violence remained limited, unlike Uganda's post-election clashes. The 1998 US embassy bombing in Nairobi, executed by Al-Qaeda on August 7, killed 213 and injured over 4,000. It thrust Kenya into the US-led war on terror, a role Somalia couldn't play due to its collapse in 1991. The US responded with $42 million in immediate aid, and by 2003, launched the East Africa Counterterrorism Initiative, channeling $100 million to Kenya over a decade. Kenya's military, trained by US Special Forces, joined the fight against Al-Shabaab in Somalia in 2011, reducing attacks by 60% by 2015, for the Global Terrorism Database. This set Kenya apart as East Africa's security anchor. The new millennium brought renewal. On December 27, 2002, Mwai Kibaki's election ended Moi's 24-year rule, a peaceful transition unmatched by Rwanda's Paul Kagame, in power since 1994. Ties with the US deepened. Barack Obama's presidency from 2009 to 2017, rooted in his Kenyan father from Kogelo, Nyanza, personalized the bond. His July 24 to 26, 2015, visit, the first by a sitting US president, drew 4,500 attendees at a Nairobi Entrepreneurship Summit. Economically, the US imported $667 million in Kenyan goods in 2023 under AGOA, including $450 million in apparel. per the U.S. Trade Representative. Kenya Airways' first direct flight to New York on October 28, 2018, cut travel to 15 hours, boosting trade by 20% within a year. Kenya's IT and tech sector, dubbed Silicon Savannah, is a standout, with deep ties to Silicon Valley. In 2007, Safaricom launched M-Pesa, a mobile money platform co-funded by a $1 million USAID grant. By 2023, it processed $300 billion annually, serving 51 million users, 83% of Kenya's population, according to the Central Bank of Kenya. Silicon Valley took notice. PayPal integrated M-Pesa in 2018, and Visa partnered with Safaricom in 2020. Nairobi's iHub, founded in 2010 with U.S. Embassy support, has incubated 300 startups, including Twiga Foods, which raised $50 million from Goldman Sachs in 2021. Google opened its first African Product Development Center in Nairobi in April 2022, hiring 100 engineers, while Microsoft's Africa Development Center, launched in 2019, employs 450 Kenyans. In 2023, U.S. venture capital in Kenyan tech hit $800 million for Partech Africa, outpacing Nigeria's $600 million. This tech boom, absent in Somalia or South Sudan, ties Kenya to Silicon Valley's innovation engine. Culturally, Lupita Nyong'o, born March 1, 1983, to Kenyan parents, won an Oscar in 2014 for 12 Years a Slave, amplifying Kenya's global voice. U.S. aid has been pivotal. PEPFAR invested $7 billion since 2003, cutting HIV prevalence from 14% in 1990 to 4.5% in 2023, for UNAIDS. USAID built 1,200 schools by 2020, educating 1.5 million children. In May 2024, the U.S. pledged $255 million for Kenya's Haiti peacekeeping mission, per the State Department. Critics, however, note IMF loans, $2.3 billion in 2021, push austerity, a U.S.-backed policy fueling public discontent. Kenya's political journey has tested this alliance. The 2007 post-election violence, PEV, after December 27's vote killed 1,133 and displaced 600,000, per the Waki Commission. The U.S., via Secretary Condoleezza Rice, brokered a February 28, 2008, power-sharing deal, calming the storm. The 2013 election of Uhuru Kenyatta on March 4 saw protests, 20 deaths, for Human Rights Watch, but U.S. diplomacy, led by John Kerry, ensured stability. June 2024's unrest over a finance bill killed 41, injured 400, for Kenya's National Commission on Human Rights, as youth stormed Parliament on June 25. The U.S. condemned excessive force, but maintained $300 million in annual aid, prioritizing Ruto's government over reform. Today, Kenya's President William Ruto, sworn in September 13, 2022, leads with a Hustler Nation agenda, winning 50.49% of the vote. His Kenya Kwanza coalition pushes economic growth, but 2024's tax hikes sparked backlash. In the U.S., as of April 10, 2025, President Joe Biden, assuming continuity, focuses on countering China, designating Kenya a major non-NATO ally on May 23, 2024, the first in sub-Saharan Africa. China's influence looms large. Its $9.8 billion standard gauge railway, completed in 2017, and $4.7 billion in 2023 loans dwarf U.S. investments, for Kenya's treasury. Yet, Kenya hosts U.S. bases, not Chinese ones, signaling preference. U.S.-driven developments shine. M-Pesa's 99% financial inclusion rate by 2023, per the World Bank, outstrips Ethiopia's 45%. Silicon Savannah generated 400,000 jobs by 2022, per Kenya's ICT ministry. Militarily, US-backed operations killed 700 Al-Shabaab fighters in 2023, per AFRICOM. Online, Kenyans and Americans connect. Hashtag Reject Finance Bill 2024 hit 1 million X posts, amplified by US users. Physically, 208,000 Americans visited Kenya in 2023, the Kenya Tourism Board, while 15,000 Kenyans study in the US, per IIA. Negative risks linger. In Kenya, US support for Ruto amid 2024 unrest, $1.5 billion in aid since 2022, may deepen inequality, with 36% below the poverty line, per World Bank 2023 data. In the US, over-reliance on Kenya could ignore corruption, $2 billion lost annually, per Kenya's Auditor General. China's 17% of Kenya's debt, $6.3 billion in 2023, could shift loyalties if US ties falter. Future gains are tangible. A US-Kenya trade deal, negotiated since 2020, could boost exports by $1 billion annually, per Kenya's Trade Ministry. Silicon Valley's $1.2 billion tech fund, announced in 2024, could double Kenya's IT jobs by 2030. Joint solar projects, Kenya's 54% renewable energy mix, per IRENA, could cut US carbon reliance. Kenya's mediation success in 2007 and beyond could stabilize Africa, while US investment in Kenya's 47% youth population, per 2023 census, could curb unrest, benefiting both. This Kenya-USA tie is a web of strategy and synergy. It's lifted Kenya above Somalia's chaos and Ethiopia's strife, fueled M-Pesa and Silicon Savannah, and calmed crises from 2007 to 2024. Yet, it grapples with China's pull, unrest scars, and power's pitfalls. As Kenya rises and America pivots, this bond, rooted in facts, not forecasts, is a future poised for greatness or gridlock.